Hello, YouTubers. Welcome back to Yorkshire Media One. I am Mark, your host, your presenter, whatever you want me to be. Yes, I am cheaper and better than the BBC. So, what have we got for you today? Well, here on Yorkshire Media One, we like to keep things nice and simple. So I thought I'd talk about electric vehicles, EVs. Now that the Rishi Sunak Prime Minister has kicked the can down the road for another 5 years. So instead of 2030, it'll be 2035 that all fossil fuel cars will cease. I think that'll be kicked down again. To be honest, Rishi Sunak should have kicked it down to at least 2060 or 2070. Yeah, and that. And as soon as he kicked it down the road, I knew this was going to happen, that it would devalue, EVs, what are currently owned and things like that. So I knew this would happen, and I'm very glad it has happened in that way. I really am. We shouldn't be pressurised to go only electric. We're not good enough to go only electric. Having only electric vehicles, we haven't got the infrastructure to do it. And if everyone did go electric, well, we'd have blackouts, wouldn't we? Because there's a hell of a lot of people in this country. But don't forget, EVs are not for everyday, not for transport for the masses. They are so expensive, and that's what I want to talk about. So they are so expensive, and as well, Renault have decided to axe the Renault Zoe, to stop making the Renault Zoe, and that's one of their top EV. It's their top selling EV. So for Renault to stop making that and to start making another Clio, I think it'll be a 1.2 Clio, what they're on about making, and it'd be cheaper to buy than the Renault Zoe. So there you go. And then you got VW. Now Volkswagen have said that they're gonna, cease production on I think it's on the E-Up, the electric up, and also they're ceasing production on the petrol version of the VW up. So that's unbelievable and things like that. So then two manufacturers to do that, well, it's got to be something really serious. And also that I have noticed when you go to like Ford or any other one, there's a hell of a lot knocked off them because the value, yeah, it's still dear. Obviously, a Mac 3 is not worth £52,000 because it's just a 5-door hatchback. Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's a 5-door car, so it's not really worth it now. Knocking £5,000 off it. Come on, Ford. You've got to be realistic. You can buy a brand new petrol car for around about 10 to 15 grand. So why can't we have an EV at that price? And things like that, or even cheaper. And things like that. And especially when we have a new government, and this new government decides, well, we're all going 20 mile an hour. So, and that could happen actually. You've only just got to look towards Wales. Now, Wales is under a Labour government. If you want to know what a Labour government would do in this country, just look at Wales. They're under a Labour government, and 20 mile an hour, really? It is ridiculous. It absolutely ridiculous. It really is. And owning an EV is more ridiculous. Why would you give up a petrol or diesel car? I know for definite you can get more miles per gallon that with a petrol, and it'd be cheaper than an electric. You know what I mean? And plus that it's all electric cars are electric cars. And what really got me is I saw the McMaster video where his 12-volt battery, had gone flat, and so he had to call out the AA, but he was trapped in it. He really was, and he tried pulling the door handle and he couldn't get out. And that's what made me think, people said, oh, well, if you pulled it harder, well, he'd have broke it if he pulled it any harder. But he was like experiencing some kind of anxiety and things like that. And everything on these electric cars are electronic. They are controlled by that 12-volt battery, you know what I mean? And it's ridiculous. It really is. You know what I mean? I will never own an EV myself. Don't get me wrong, I've driven electric vehicles before. I've driven an EV. I've even driven a milk float years and years and years ago. And that's the technology we're talking about, really. Yeah, I know modern electric cars are more sophisticated than a milk float, but they're not really when you think about it. I mean, what makes them so expensive? Well, it's the batteries, and they are battery operated. EV evangelists don't like that, but let's face it, that's what an electric car is powered by, a battery. It's as simple as that. Or batteries, you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? Even Tesla, that's what they call their car. It's a battery operated car, which they are. The Porsche Taycan, the VW E-Up, that's a battery operated car. I know electric car drivers don't like people using that terminology, but that terminology is correct. It is a battery operated car. And what happens to batteries over time? They degrade. And that's what really does happen. Now, realistically, it should, a battery on an EV should last in between 15 to 30 years. That's with a bit of degradation as well, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So in say like 15 or 20 years time, or 30 years time, or whatever comes quickest, you should be about, I would say about 30% down on your mileage, what you will get from a brand new one, and things like that. That's the way I see it, and things like that. And I always say this: don't buy an electric car. It's cheaper to buy a petrol or a diesel and buy a classic car. Yeah, I mean, you know, they look better. They're not ugly. I mean, whoever designs these electric cars, they're really ugly. Oh yeah, they really are. You know what I mean? They are really, really, really ugly. You know, look at a classic car. Look at a nice classic car. I mean, get a petrol. Yeah, I mean, you get more mileage. You don't need stupid apps to fill up or all like that. Yeah, just go to a petrol station, put it in, fill it up, and go pay for it. What, 10, 15 minutes? Not 2 to 3 hours. You know what I mean? This is the thing. So now, you know, EVs prices are being axed. They are coming down dramatically, and that's through Rishi Sunak. And you know, thanks to Rishi Sunak, yeah, I mean, you know, next step, Rishi, pull the funding for EVs. Let's see if they can stand on their own, because I don't think they can. I know they can't. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you know, the government have forced us, or tried to force so many people into electric cars, which people have followed like sheep. They followed them, and they've done exactly what the government have asked for them to do, and now they're paying the price. It's as simple as that, and it really is. You know, I wouldn't invest my money in an EV. No chance. I'd rather invest it in a nice 1968 Dodge Challenger, Dodge Charger, or even a Jensen Interceptor and things like that. You know, that's where I put my money. That's where the smart people put their money, into classic cars, or even buildings and things like that. You know, that's where the smart people put their money. They don't put the money into EVs. You know what I mean? Electric vehicles. And I would never own an electric vehicle. But like I said, I have driven one. I have driven electric vehicles, and yeah, it's an eye opener. It is. It's nice and quick and things like that. But at the end of the day, you know, EVs are not for the masses. Then, you know, no one's going to be driving en masse. You know what I mean? When Henry Ford made the first motor car, Model T Ford, he made it for everybody. It was classless. At the moment, these EVs are not classless. You know, if you're rich, you can have one. It's as simple as that. And I'm not rich, and I don't want one. At the end of the day, but I don't think they're the future. I think there's something else coming down the line, and it could be the hydrogen engine, or it could be completely something else. But I don't think this first batch, or this EVs, electric vehicles, is the future. I think it's the beginning. I think we're at the Betamax stage. if you know what I mean, with the VHS or things like that. So that's where we are at the moment. We're at the Betamax stage, and that what is going to overtake that, what will be the VHS or the Blu-ray of the 21st century. We don't know. We don't know what that looks like. We do know that there is car manufacturers like Toyota, BMW working on this right now, and for Renault to say, well, no, we're not making, we're pulling the e-Zoe, so there'll be no Zoes, electric Zoes, because they're completely axing it. VW is axing their electric up, E-Up, so E-Up is gone. So has the petrol version, by the way, of the E-Up as well. And I've read all this in an article in a magazine and stuff like this, so I know it's going to happen, and I know it's right. So at the end of the day, that's where we are. EVs are not the future. If you're considering in buying a new car and you're going to buy, don't bother buying an EV. You'd be much better in buying a petrol or a diesel, because you can buy them cheaper. You know what I mean? You really can. You can buy a diesel car with all the toys on, 15 to 18 grand. You know what I mean? So you don't want to buy a basic electric car for 27,000, do you? So at the end of the day, that's where we are. So so I think now EV ownership it's going to stay as it is. I don't think it'll drop. I think there will be still some people out there who'll be thinking, well, I won't mind one of these. I mean, I don't know why you would want an ugly car or a car what doesn't look right. I don't know why they allow these on the road, because they are dangerous, or they can be dangerous. I know that. And you hear all these EV fires, especially in China. It does happen. It's not a myth. They are happening, and it could happen. And if it happens, they're harder to put out. It's as simple as that, because of the batteries. They are a battery operated vehicle, so hence. I mean, and they are a little bit heavier, which they are. I won't say they save the environment, because at the moment they're not that green. A classic car is greener than that, because you're not rebuilding that. I mean, you are what you are and what you're doing. It's as simple as that, really. If this country were taking it more seriously, that we would be going fully electric, and they'd be building more nuclear power stations and things like that, because that is the greener thing to do, and it really is the greener thing to do. So there you go. So there you go. That's my video. EVs are not the future. They never will be. And I mean, I'm only saying that they're not the future right now, at this moment in time. They're really not, because there is better options out there for people to consider, i.e. buying a brand new petrol or a brand new diesel. But there is better options out there. If I could project myself 10 years into the future, will we have electric cars? I think we will. But again, I think it'll be a smaller number, a smaller package. These cars are getting more expensive, and I don't care what an ex-Top Gear presenter says about it. At the end of the day, the electric vehicles have been deliberately overpriced. And I don't care what people think to that. I know this, and yes, they have. They've been completely overpriced, deliberately overpriced as well. So, there is no way is a Renault Zoe worth from 20 to 30 grand, I'm telling you. Nowhere near. Nowhere. So they have been dramatically overpriced. That's cashing in. That's the quick rich scheme, which it is. That's why the government wanted you to switch, so they could get rich, we get poorer. We have to have 16 apps on our phone to charge the bloody thing up, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So that's what it's all about, really. And that's what's annoying me, because the government had no right in doing what they did to force you into EVs in the first place. I mean, we were told, me personally, I was told that EVs will come alongside, petrol and diesel cars and sell alongside. you know, and you won't be able to, you won't be able to push one way or the other. You let the people have the free choice. Freedom of choice is what they call it, and that's what we were told would happen. And then the government does the complete opposite and says, "Oh no, you've got to have EV, you got to do this, you got to do that," and things like that. That's how come they're doing this scrappage scheme now. But I won't scrap my car for £2,000 because you can't buy an EV for £2,000. yeah, you really can't. Well, not a brand new one, and I don't think you could buy a second-hand one really at that price. If you could, it'll be, I think, it'd be on its last legs in any case, and things like that. But people ask me, he says, "How long will these EVs last?" And I says, "What do you mean?" "Well, how long? How long will the chassis?" Well, the chassis, I keep, as long as it's looked after and things like that, it should last, quite a while. You should be able to get like the first Nissan Leaf into a classic car show. Eventually, it will become a classic. It will become a modern day classic. And that's what they're hoping, and that should be the true whole way down. The drawback to your Nissan Leaf will be the batteries. That will be all. If you need to replace a couple of cells in there, that's going to be expensive, and it really is. You know what I mean? In my opinion, so it is what it is. You know what I mean? So there is that toing and froing at the moment. You know what I mean? So just stick with it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like I said, there's better options out there to buy. I mean, if you're looking to buy your first car, then buy a petrol or a diesel, but buy a small car what suits your needs and things like that. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-EV. I don't hate EVs, but if you want an EV just to run round your local city centre, then get one because you can charge it at home. Then have the home in charger installed and do it that way. So then it becomes more practical. If you want one for long distance, this is where the unpracticality comes in. Yes, you can get EVs what can do 200 to 300 miles, but they're more expensive. They're like 60, 70, 80, 90,000 pounds, and it's as simple as that. And EV ownership, it's not an art thing and things like that. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. And if you don't take my word for it, there's a couple of channels what I want you to check out. So go check out EVM. Now EVM is electric vehicle. Now he's good at what he does. His videos are good. He's just lost his way a little bit. That's all. But go see him. He's all about EVs. He'll tell you why you should buy one. Blah 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 blah. If you're like me, and you don't want one, but you want to hear truthful, I would say truthful opinions about an electric vehicle, then go see the Mac Master. So the Mac Master or EVM, go see any of them too. They are good channels to watch. So if you like this video and you stuck till end, please give me a like. Please subscribe if you're new, hit the bell icon, hit all that will let you know when I'm uploading another video. Please come back from time to time to make sure that you still subscribe to me, because the YouTube algorithm has a nasty habit of unsubscribing people. Also share this video to friends and family and to other social media like Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and use the comment section below. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Catch you all later.